Hey guys, what's going on? Saad here with ZHS, and today we're going to take a look at Powerbeats Wireless 2s versus the Beats X. There's a couple categories. We'll compare these two and see which one comes out first. The first category is comfort. Between the Beats X and the Powerbeats Wireless 2s, I would say I found the Powerbeats Wireless 2s a little bit more comfortable. There's absolutely no listening fatigue when you're using the Powerbeats Wireless 2s. The Beats X aren't bad, but I kind of felt like after about an hour or so, I kind of wanted to take the Beats X out of my ears, whereas the Powerbeats Wireless 2s, I had no issues at all. With the Beats X, I noticed the earbuds coming out sometimes, so I had to adjust them every now and then. The Powerbeats Wireless 2s seemed to stay in place a little bit better, and I did not find myself adjusting constantly like I did with the Beats X. The Beats X also feel kind of heavy. Because of the design of the headphones, the battery, and this kind of like tube design that you see on both sides, it does add a little bit of weight, and so when you do wear them, you notice that a lot. The Powerbeats Wireless 2s on the other hand are really light. The cable is really light, and when you're wearing them, you kind of forget about them, which is great. It's a little hard to forget that you're wearing the Beats X. Because of the weight and the length of the cable, you're constantly reminded that you're wearing these. The Beats X does have some cable management built into it. It has this little gray tab that you see on the wire, and you can use that to kind of shorten or lengthen the cable as you'd like. The Powerbeats X, on the other hand, does not have any cable management, so you're kind of forced to use this really long wire, and I kind of wish they had something for that, because you really feel that long wire dangling all the time. I don't know, something about these headphones, they personally feel awkward to me. This cable is just too long. If you compare the cable lengths between the two, the Beats X cable is much longer. With the Powerbeats, you do get a nice carrying case that has a zip, and it works really well, it's durable, and it looks pretty good. With the Beats X, you can't really call it a case. I don't know what this thing is. It attracts a lot of lint and dust, and it's not really fun trying to stuff your headphones inside this little mouth. The Beats X does come with a lightning cable, which is convenient, so you don't have to carry around two cables, because then you can charge your iPhone and your headphones with the same cable. The Powerbeats Wireless 2s come with a USB-C cable, so you're still forced to carry around both your lightning cable and your USB-C cable, which isn't a big deal, but then you still have to carry around two cables. Looks-wise, I don't think there's a clear winner. I think both headphones look pretty decent. I think when you are wearing them, the Powerbeats 2 Wireless might look a little bit better just because the cable is smaller and you can kind of hide it. With these, you kind of notice the cable dangling on both sides, so it kind of looks a little bit awkward. So how do these sound? That's probably the most important category. So as far as sound goes, neither headphone is gonna really excel in the sound department, but I did find that the Powerbeats Wireless 2s were a little bit more consistent in the way they sounded. The Beats X definitely have stronger bass, and I did find the music to sound somewhat clearer, but the sound was a little bit tinny. I felt that some songs that I listened to, the sound was really thin and it did not sound well-rounded at all. Even though the Powerbeats Wireless 2s weren't as clear, I didn't find the sound to be thin or tinny at any point, and even though the bass isn't as punchy as the Powerbeats X, it still does a great job representing the bass. The sound isolation is definitely better on the Beats X. It's not bad on the Powerbeats Wireless 2. It still does a good job of blocking out outside noise. As far as sound leaking goes, the Beats X do a better job in not leaking as much sound. Not saying that the Powerbeats Wireless 2s leak a lot of sound, but in comparison, the Beats X definitely does a better job. And so overall, I think sound-wise, I would prefer the Powerbeats Wireless 2s. Both headphones have inline mic controls, so you can skip music, you can pause music, you can increase the volume, decrease the volume, and answer and end calls. The tactile feedback of the volume controls on both headphones is great. So as far as running and working out goes, I think the Powerbeats 2 Wireless come on top. Because of the smaller cable and the lighter weight, they are much more comfortable to wear during workouts. And we did a few running tests, and we noticed that the Powerbeats Wireless 2 sounded great while running, they stayed in place, the cable didn't make any noise. The Beats X, we found that it did fall out a few times, and they didn't stay in place as well as the Powerbeats Wireless 2s did. Also when you're running, because the cable length, you did hear that cable hitting your skin, and it does make a lot of noise, so it's not really great for running at all. You can still work out in these, but if I had to pick one, I would definitely go with the Powerbeats Wireless 2s, because overall they're more comfortable, they're lighter, and because the wire isn't so long and heavy, you don't hear that sound feedback when you're moving around. We also tested the Bluetooth range on both headphones, and we were actually quite surprised. We left our phone in the bag, and we walked outside and see at which point the sound would cut out. And surprisingly, both of them lasted the same exact range. Battery life is definitely a category the Beats X comes out on top. It has fast fuel charge, and with 5 minutes of charging, you get 2 hours of battery life. They're supposed to last about 8 hours on a full charge, and I got anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, and it takes about 45 minutes to get a full charge on these. The battery life on the Powerbeats Wireless 2s isn't as great. On a full charge, these last me anywhere between 4 to 5 hours, which isn't a lot, and it takes about 90 minutes to completely charge these. So when it comes to battery life, hands down Beats X is the better option between the two. So taking everything into consideration, I definitely think that the Powerbeats Wireless 2s is the better option. You can pick these up on eBay for about $70, which is much cheaper than the Beats X that retail for $150. Even though you get better battery life, and you have these magnets, and you get the W1 Bluetooth chip, I don't think all those features add up to a better overall experience. I still find that the Powerbeats Wireless 2s are more versatile. You can work out in these, they feel much more comfortable, and the sound is much more balanced. The bass may be punchier in these, but the sound is tinny, it's kind of weak. So despite all the newer features that Apple's added to the Beats X, I still think that the Powerbeats Wireless 2s come on top. So if you are thinking of picking up a pair of headphones, or if you already have these, I would definitely not recommend getting the Beats X. And if you already bought the Beats X, if you're still within the return period, then I would say return those and pick these guys up instead. So that was a quick comparison between the Powerbeats Wireless 2s and the Beats X. Hope that helped in case you were debating between the two. If you have any more questions, please comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, see you guys.